All right, we're going to get going in about 1 minute. Feel free to introduce yourself in the comments. You can also post any questions you might already have in there. Once our friends at Baod Up do their presentation, we'll have plenty of time for a Q&A. So any questions you may have, they can definitely get answered. We just posted the recipe on the Facebook group. So if you want to check that out, if you plan on recreating these at home later today, the recipe is posted for you. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to introduce to you Sarah, who's going to introduce our friends who are going to be our presenting today.
Thanks, Emily. Good morning, everyone, and happy holiday kids out of school week to you. I am excited to welcome our friends from Baod Up to our Thinkery Members Circle for our final Think Outside the Box event of the year. Baod Up is one of our most favorite neighbors in our Mueller neighborhood, and it is always a pleasure to work with them. And it's even more exciting to hear tips and tricks from them today on the recipes that they've perfected that they have available in their restaurants, ways that you and your kiddos can work together to make bao at home using almost any filling you can dream up. And so I'm excited to hear about the cultural importance of bao this morning, and then also how it transitions so beautifully into something that you can make and eat at home at Baod Up, do with your kiddos, use your holiday leftovers in. There's just all kinds of things that you can do using bao. Something also that I'm super excited about today is that we have a 2-camera angle that we are highlighting, where our friends Stephanie and Chef Ting from Baod Up will be demonstrating and showing off the making of bao. And then our friend Kevin will do some close-up shots on some of the detail work to make your bao come out as beautifully, fingers crossed, as what Chef Ting makes in the kitchen. So I am going to turn it off to them. Thank you guys so much for being present and involved this morning. I brought my appetite and my thinking cap, and I'm so excited to learn from y'all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. And hello, everyone watching at home. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Stephanie Milam. I am the marketing director at Baod Up, and next to me is Ting Lin. He is one of the co-owners and executive chef and mastermind and talent behind all of our food. And so he will be demonstrating, I'll be kind of narrating and talking about the company, the food, what to do, what not to do. Obviously, Ting's the expert, so he'll be piping in. Behind the cameras and the computers, we have Ginny, who is HR extraordinaire, operations. She does everything, and we couldn't survive without her, as well as Kevin, who is the expert videographer with the close-up angles today. He is our regional director, and again, he is outstanding, and we couldn't survive without him. So they may be popping in as well to help out, just to keep everything running smoothly this morning. But to give you a little bit of background on what bao is, so if you haven't tried it before, or if you haven't been to Baod Up, essentially bao is a fluffy bun filled with just about anything, sweet or savory, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, kind of covers the spectrum of what you can put inside the bun. Bao is known for being a really kind of soft, fluffy dough for the bun itself. And it comes from China. So both of our owners are actually Chinese immigrants, and they met here in Austin as neighbors. And they kind of shared a mutual frustration for not being able to find quick, easy, reliable bao in Austin. So that's where the idea for Baod Up came from. And so it's a really common household food item in China. So essentially households will either buy or make bao by kind of the tray full, essentially, and just always have it in their fridge to grab and go for breakfast, for a snack. They're really easy to reheat. And that's kind of the magic of Bao is because it's this awesome self-contained bun, it doesn't leak. So it's an awesome kind of alternative for a sandwich if you want something really quick. It's, you know, it can be great hot or cold even. You have something to add? So it's a super versatile item. And that's what makes it really fun at Baod Up for us to bring different options to our menu. At Baod Up, we do have different food items. We have noodle bowls, fried chicken, fries, salad. We have other things at Baod Up, but today we will be focusing on Bao itself. So we will be making today for you a pork steamed Bao. So if we want to get started with the dough, with the recipe itself, and I'll kind of keep popping in and giving you more background information on the company. If you guys aren't looking at the menu, feel free to reference that. I will also be kind of talking you through it. So you will be starting with active dry yeast, granulated sugar, and a lukewarm water, so room temperature, a little bit warmer than room temperature water, as well as about 5 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, one of the tricks, if you can find it here in Austin, which you can, is actually Korean flour. So you're welcome to use all-purpose, will work just fine, but if you really want that special soft, fluffy bao texture, Korean flour is a great option. All right, so all we're doing is mixing those together. You can just do this by hand like Ting is doing. If you have a mixing bowl or mixer at home, you're welcome to do this with a dough hook attachment. And so first you want to make sure you dissolve the yeast and sugar in the water. And then we're mixing it up.
Yeah, just how you make regular dough. And then if you want to feel more milky, or you can put some milk or condensed milk.
All right, so while Ting's doing that, a bit more about Baod Up, just to give you some fun background. We started in 2017, so our first location was in the Mueller neighborhood, so right by Thinkery, that is our original location. We're very proud to be Thinkery neighbors as well, so thanks guys, really appreciate the collaboration today. And we have 4 locations currently, so if you are in South Austin, we have one in Sunset Valley off of Brody. And we also have one near UT on Rio Grande. That's going to be closer if you live downtown or kind of west area. And then we have one in North Austin, which is part of Kitchen United Mix off of Burnett Road. We will have our 5th location coming next year, which we're excited about. So stay tuned for more details for that. All right, so Ting did add a little bit more water. And what kind of consistency are we looking for the dough?
Just until all the pan all dry. And that should be good.
Okay, so you want the bowl to be dry. You want everything to
be clean.
And we are using today a more traditional pork mixture. So ground pork, you can substitute this for chicken or beef. So whatever you have at home in your freezer, you're welcome to use. And the other ingredients and kind of what we're flavoring the pork with is super flexible as well. So you'll see the ingredients list that when we mix up the pork, we'll have things like ginger, rice vinegar, soy sauce, pepper, sesame oil. You're welcome to replace those with any of your favorite ingredients, or even if you don't prefer, if your kids at home don't prefer any of these ingredients, you're welcome to admit these items. The filling is super flexible. Where you do kind of want to pay attention is the dough. So as you can see, Ting has mixed it so the bowl has come out clean. That's what you're looking for. And the dough has a pretty smooth consistency. Is becoming more smooth as well as he kneads it. And this is a fun place for your kids to be involved with the mixing and the kneading. They can get their hands in it.
Yeah, to the point it doesn't stick to the bowl, so we basically just cover it up let it rest for 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, so now it has to proof. So now your dough will need to rest and proof.
Rest. Okay, so while we're done the dough, we go ahead to mix the filling.
Yep. All right, so while the dough is resting, we're moving on to the pork filling. So you have your ground meat. Again, we're using pork, but you can use beef or chicken, whatever you got. Getting gloves on, keeping it safe.
Okay. So before we mixing, adding everything, we usually add a little bit of salt to the pork. And then start to mixing that first. And we slowly adding the water. But we don't add the water in there in the one time. So usually we separate for 3 times. So it's just like that the meat get more moisture. And it won't taste so dry when the first thing.
Yeah, so the important thing with bao filling is that it is moist enough. So you don't want it to be too dry, which is why we're slowly adding a little bit of water at a time. And that's something to remember if you want to use different fillings or flavors, is you want your filling to be moist, but not too runny. So you don't want any sauces or juices that can visibly run out of the filling, but you do want it to be nice and moist. We are steaming the bao, so it won't get dried out once it is cooked, but you do want to make sure that it's moist when you're making the filling, or if you need to add anything to leftovers to make sure that it's not too dry to begin with.
Okay, so adding a little bit more salt, pepper,
So we've got the salt and the pepper.
ginger,
This is the grated ginger.
and the soy sauce.
And soy sauce. The recipe says a tablespoon. This looks like just a little bit more. Again, it's to taste. It's whatever you guys kind of prefer or what sounds good to you.
Always adding the oil and this. And here's onions, if you guys know it. It just gives more sweetness.
So this was a chopped yellow onion and green onion, both that Ting just added.
Yeah, usually we make that filling, pork filling a day before, so it'll be more cold, more solid when we making the bao. And also you get more all the flavor in, like take some time to settle in all the flavor taste.
Yeah, another reason why leftovers are great. So if you do have something like this that you've made the day before, this is something that can be prepped at least 1 or 2 days before, about 1 to 2 days before. Or again, my leftovers are a great option for a bao filling, or a great way to kind of experiment and reuse leftovers and give your kids something fun to do. So again, the dough is resting right now while we're doing this.
Okay. So that'll be the dough, how it pretty much how it looks after it resting for 20-30 minutes. And then
So you'll see it gets a little bit smoother in texture.
yeah, it gets much more smooth. So it basically all the air, all the water coming absorb. It becomes like more relaxing. So it's much easier to work with.
Yeah, so much more elastic. So that's what after resting the dough for 20 to 30 minutes should look like. Smoother and more elastic. Now we're needing to get the air out.
Yeah.
This is something that should be always done by hand versus like with a rolling pin or anything like that.
You can do on machine. The more mixer work, it's more.
So you can, okay, yeah, with a dough hook again for an attachment if you have a standing mixer at home.
So right here, you can just load it up and then cut it out.
So the dough was split in half.
Yeah, just basically just try to get to a point, a piece about 1.5 ounce or 2 ounce. And then we separate it out.
So that's 5 pieces from half of the dough.
Yeah, then we just put some flour in.
Some more flour. Okay, here's the fun part.
Then we load it out. There's other different way you can do, or you can just like load it flat and use the cookie cutter to cut it. But it might taste a little bit different, the texture.
So this is a technique with a rolling pin. You rotate the dough and you're flattening it kind of on the sides as it gets rolled out. And we're looking at about 5.5 inches in diameter when we roll it out. So again, this was 5 pieces from half of the dough. So it'll be about 10 pieces. And as Ting mentioned, you're welcome to, if you can't, you're welcome to, you and your kids kind of play around with this technique. If they're not coming out quite right for you, you're welcome to roll it out and then use a cookie cutter. And again, you're looking for about 5.5 inches in diameter for these. Okay, and now we're ready to fill. So about how much are we putting in there?
An ounce and a half.
About 1.5 ounces. What is that in like tablespoons for people that may not weigh things at home? Like 2 tablespoons, 1.5 tablespoons?
Yeah, 1.5. Super.
About 1.5 tablespoons of filling.
So basically, I mean, we do basically just like put it piece by piece, step by step, slowly.
So this is the pleating technique. This is what gives Bao its really unique kind of look. So he's basically pinching and twisting the dough as he rotates it in his hand. And we'll do the rest of these for you guys so you can really see what he's doing, because this is the trick to Bao essentially. So you're pulling it in, twisting the edges, pinching them together. And we were joking before this that we're going to have a contest with our staff that Ting will judge to see who can pleat Bao the best. And is it about like 12 to 15 pleats or more?
Yeah, your standard will be like 18.
18.
Or two more less.
Yeah.
If you feel it doesn't look cool, so you just get close, and then just flick over, and then it'll be looks much.
So if you guys didn't catch that, you can do your best to pleat them together, and if it doesn't look right, you can just flip it over and have the nice smooth bottom on the other side essentially be the top. You'll notice with Ting's other hand, so the hand that is supporting the bottom of the bao that's slowly twisting it, he also keeps his thumb on the filling to keep it in place.
Okay.
And I know that the recipe that you guys have is a little bit different than the one we're doing here. It does ask you to cook the filling beforehand. And we definitely recommend you guys do that at home. It just keeps things a little bit safer to ensure everything is fully cooked. Since Ting is an expert and professional, we are filling the baos without the pork being filled today. But we definitely recommend at home that if you're cooking with meat to go ahead and cook that before filling the bao.
So now is the most important part.
Okay, what is the most important part, Ting?
How you prove the bao.
How you proof the bao. Okay, so again, this is a little bit different for us. We have the bao proofing after they've been filled. I think the recipe has the dough proofing before, but you can do it either way.
Yeah, but basically we prove after we make the bao and then prove it, so it give it'll stay much of settle shape,
Mm-hmm.
and then so you can see that's the bao we make earlier, and that's being proved ready.
Mm-hmm.
See how big it changed.
Yeah, it grows in size a lot more. Can you guys kind of see that a little bit?
Also, like when you touch it, and you probably feel this one is much more poofy before it's steamed. But after it's steamed, it's probably gonna go much bigger again.
Yeah, so you want to see that size increase. You want to see that as the bao proof and rest, the size increases, and that's the dough expanding. And you're looking for a soft, fluffy texture when you touch it. So you can see Ting kind of touching it. The analogy that he kind of gave me earlier today was more like cotton, so it becomes much lighter in weight also as it gets fluffier. Or it'll feel that way at least.
And now we'll steam it.
Compared to its size. And how long should they proof? Okay, so we have to tell you guys about this cool oven trick that I just learned, and I'm totally gonna do at home. But to proof the bao, so if you proof, you can proof the bao either after or before it's been filled. So if you still wanna proof just the dough and make the filling separate, you're welcome to do that. You fill the bao and you want to proof them after they've been filled and pleated or pinched. What you can do is put either the dough or the filled bao in your oven. And so what you'll do is don't turn the oven on, keep it off. What you'll do is you'll put the bao or the dough on the top rack of your oven and hot water in a bowl or a tray or a couple of ramekins on the bottom rack. And that'll help it proof, because you actually, unlike other kind of bread and dough recipes, you want to proof it with moisture. So that's what makes another thing that makes bao dough really unique, is it's very kind of moisture dense. Not only do we steam it, but it's proofed in a very moist environment is ideal. Again, with the recipe, it says you can proof in a warm, dry place. We're kind of showing you more of a, this is a very kind of at-home friendly recipe, what Thinkery shared with you guys. So you're welcome to follow that recipe kind of verbatim, and we're kind of giving you alternatives, and Ting's is much more kind of traditional and true to what we do at Baod Up. It's a little loud, so give us a few minutes. This is our commercial equipment, which is fun. All right, it's coming off. We can go take a look. All right, so you can see these have grown in size again, especially like, look, this is where we started. So this is the ones that have not been proved or steamed right here. You can kind of see my finger. So you can see the difference in size. I can kind of like lift them up. So much, much bigger. Woo! And they're hot. Because they just came out of the steamer. So again, you have that really, it's gotten, again, even fluffier to the touch, but it's not quite as, you don't get it, you can tell it's cooking because it's really hot, but it's also not sticky, right? So the dough has cooked as well. Okay, is this the fun part? So essentially, once they're cool, they're ready to eat. So that's it. It's a really quick cooking / steaming process, right? So cooking the bao is steaming it, and that part goes really fast. If you're doing it at home, again, it's just 7-10 minutes, depending on your steamer, maybe slightly more, max of 10-ish. So pretty quick. You can tell Ting is already enjoying. And let's see what it looks like on the inside. I know his hands are so much tougher than mine because he's a chef. Like these are so hot for me, but I will try.
Just like a meatball inside.
Yeah. So because we use a ground meat, it'll kind of be more like a meatball inside, like a flavored meatball, but who doesn't love meatballs, right? So really kind of fun way. And you can see if we pull this off, that the dough is still super fluffy, and that's why it doesn't leak on the bottom. See, that's the bottom, so you don't get any leakage, which again is really amazing and kind of special about bao itself. And you can do that with all filling, but you can still tell that it's super kind of, really moist and juicy in there. So because you're steaming it, you really keep the moisture. So it's always super delicious. It's kind of hard to go wrong with bao, with the filling. Again, you just want to make sure that that your filling is moist but not runny. So no juices or sauces kind of running off the filling. If so, you're welcome to kind of strain that out before you fill the bao. And yeah, enjoy. It's super delicious. I'm going to take my mask off for just a second so I can eat. And this is what it looked like.
Those look so good, you guys.
Yum.
Emily and I'm sure our audience are over here going, we want some too. Yum.
Yeah. Are y'all ready for the Q&A?
Or do you need a minute to chew?
I guess that's true.
Yum. We're so jealous.
It's good for any time of day too. Like you can put egg in here, do like egg, ham, and cheese if you want, sausage and egg. I'm gonna mask pack up again. Kind of a pork or meat filling is good. We have a veggie option on our menu. So if you have like kind of leftover stir fry, throw that in a bao. Like our turkey and potato bao that's on our menu right now. It's essentially turkey and mashed potato with like some bacon bits and other fun stuff in there. And it's, again, you can throw that in a bao. It's awesome. And you're welcome to kind of play around with the dough, with the recipes, see what works for you guys, have fun with your kids. It's really that steaming process that makes it special. Again, don't forget the yeast in your dough, because that's what's going to make it rise and make it nice and fluffy. Ting is enjoying it. Traditionally, bao are kind of just like eaten as is in China, but we do have amazing kind of dipping sauces, which I am obsessed with. We just call it our Baod Up sauce. It's sort of like an Asian style barbecue. It's not too barbecue-y, not too smoky. It's kind of an awesome balance of a really kind of nice savory dipping sauce. And so I love it. I'm, even if I'm just having like one or two bao at the restaurant, I always have grab some of our dipping sauce. So if you ever check out Baod Up, please grab one of our dipping sauces as well. It's also a great way to compare. So if you're making bao at home, if you're not sure if you got it right, we're always happy. Like you can send us a message on Facebook, on Instagram, reach out and say, hey, I made this at home. I want to come and try y'all's, and we'll make sure to take care of you so you can get a comparison of kind of how we do it and, you know, kind of what these amazing fluffy bao are supposed to taste like, essentially. And I'm sure you guys will all do an amazing job at home, but if you ever want to compare, you're welcome to.
I'm like, Emily, start the car. Let's go. Let's go right now. Thank you guys so much for such a tremendous demo. I think we have a couple of questions that came in via the feed. If Emily wants to ask those.
Yes. Can you hear me okay for the questions?
Yep.
Perfect. So this could be a question for both of you. What is your favorite bao filling, whether it's traditional or sort of out of the box? What do y'all enjoy the most?
I like the sausage and cheese before. So the cheese and the bun blend together, it gives you like soft, milky, cheesy flavor. It's just like something that we never experienced before when I was in China. And then right here we have a much better cheese, especially with the mozzarella cheese. So that's something we should try out.
Yeah, sausage and cheese is Ting's favorite, and that's something that we're considering for our menu. Our plan is to, if you guys haven't noticed, we do have some seasonal bao on our menu currently, and that's something that we plan to keep doing moving forward, is to always kind of be rotating through just to try different flavors, get creative with it. Ting has amazing ideas. We're always happy to hear your ideas as well. If there's something that you think would be a great fit inside a bao bun, we're happy to hear it. For me, my favorite right now is our brisket. When I first joined Baod Up, my favorite was barbecue chicken. So I'm essentially going through phases with them. But I love our brisket bao. On our menu, you can get it steamed or it's part of our pan-seared trio as well. So that's something kind of unique that we do at Baod Up, and you guys are welcome to try if you make bao at home. So we steam our bao, and then we also will give them a quick sear in a pan. So it gives it a little bit more texture, a little more depth of flavor for the bun itself. And again, just kind of makes it a little bit more unique, something different to try. And our brisket is a great way to enjoy that as well, and great with the dipping sauce.
So we have some questions about the flour. So I know you said you can use all-purpose or Korean flour, but do you have any brand recommendations or recommendations of stores to go to get this flour?
So usually when you go to Asian market, either Korean or MT here, they all have only have the Korean brand. They only have 2 brands, so either one should work. Because the flour from Korea or Asia is like we don't put too much other chemical in there to make like a bread type or special for bread or special for that. So it's pretty neutral, and that will give us more easy to work with it.
Yeah, so more pure flour. So if you go to an Asian market, ask for Korean flour, and any Korean flour should work. Regardless of brand.
Yeah, I think.
Cool. I didn't know that.
I think they only have 2 brands. So just get either one with the all-purpose Korean flour. It works fine for both.
Good question.
Good to know. So what is your favorite part of running a bao business? And then what's the hardest part? Hitting you with the tough ones.
Am I the hardest part, Ting? Is it me?
I guess I've been running business over the 12 years already. So I think the hardest part is when you feel you're good enough, you try to get lazy, and then so that will be those won't be hardest part. But I think
You stay kind of inspired. And trying different things.
how you keep up everything so you don't get settled all the time. You know, so I mean, when you do good enough, are you gonna continue to grow, or are you just like stay where it is? I think that's because when you try to do something else, always risky out there, right? So that's what's more hardest part, the choice that are you try to go for something more, something different, or you just eat what you have right now.
Yeah, and especially because we have multiple locations, you know, we want to keep everything running smoothly. We have a bigger team because of that. So there are a lot of moving parts with our business. But that's why we're so grateful to have Ting, because and Ginny and Kevin, who you guys don't see on screen, but so much of what they do keeps their restaurants functioning every day, and means so much, so that Ting can be thinking of ways to push the food, push the industry. And that is one of our goals. You know, we want to kind of not only bring Bao into American homes, but we almost want to create a new category, right, in a really original way to combine flavors with this unique type of food.
Love that. So this might be an easier question. What is the most popular bao at your restaurant?
Brisket is easy. Okay, brisket, yeah.
The brisket and the juicy pork. Mm-hmm. Those two are the top sales.
And our juicy pork does look similar to this, kind of a meatball, and then the brisket is kind of a more like pulled meat texture. And both are super delicious and very popular at all of our locations.
Yes, I have tried them and I can absolutely recommend them. So traditionally, are bao usually made together as a family, or does like one person usually do it? Is there like someone who's the best at bao, so they do it?
So bao is little bit more work, but it stays longer. Usually, like people make it as just like a bread in northern China. So they usually have like mom or grandma will make it in the morning, so everybody can wake up and then eat the breakfast. And then whenever they feel like whenever they go on a long trip, so they can keep the bao and then you don't need to heat it up. That's like way before old, like
super traditional.
Yeah, super traditional. So you can, if you watch the movie, like Chinese movie, old Chinese movie, you always gonna see that they eat a bao or bread, like when they on a long
travel.
trip. Yeah,
travel and take trips.
Yeah, so that's usually how it is. But because it takes more time, it's different. Like the dumpling is much easier. So usually the whole family can make it during the holiday. But the bao is just take more time and then technique. So
I think that's why you commonly see, you know, here in Austin as well as in Texas, you know, people are pretty familiar with dumplings, but less with bao. And, you know, we're trying to change that. And Sarah, I actually loved your comparison when we first started talking about arranging this event, is you made the comparison to tamales. And I think that's kind of a good comparison that people can kind of relate to, where they're made, they're made several at a time. They're made, you know, for the whole family, and really to kind of just to be available for anyone to grab. And they do have a great shelf life, so you can keep them in the fridge for, you know, 5-ish days, right? Five or so days. So it has a great shelf life. It lasts a long time. You can reheat it or not.
Yeah, and so you can put it on the freezer. And then I think every time you steam it up, it gives new life. It tastes pretty much same like brand new when it's hot and warm.
Yeah, which is awesome. So you avoid the freezer burn. And so you can, correct me if I'm wrong, Ting, but you can always re-steam from frozen, or?
Yeah, you can just re-steam from frozen. You don't have to defrost it, and just give them maybe 15-20 minute time when the water is boiling up, so it'll stay.
What about the microwave from frozen? Can you microwave from frozen, or should you thaw first? I know, I microwave our bao though. Like when I put ours in the fridge, I microwave and I think it tastes great. But
I never tried the frozen to microwave, so because I don't know why, like the bao put on microwave if too long, it just become like pretty dry.
Okay.
So,
well, if you guys try it at home, let us know, because that's something that we don't necessarily know the answer to, is from frozen going to the microwave. So if you guys ever try that, let us know. But yeah, you can always steam it directly from frozen. And you can microwave from the fridge. So again, shelf life in the fridge is about 5 days. You can always pop them in. I think I usually do just like 30 to 45 seconds in the microwave. It's pretty quick. Again, depending on how many, if you're just doing one at a time, about 30 to 45 seconds. If you have a couple in there, maybe a little closer to a minute.
I don't know that I could ever just eat one at a time.
It's a great snack, man. I think the most I've ever eaten is 3. Hey, that's not bad.
No judgment here whatsoever.
I honestly love it as snack, and I think breakfast. I think breakfast is a great idea. I would totally eat it for breakfast. And again, because I think most of us, breakfast, maybe not now with COVID, but when, if you have to get to work or just don't like to wake up with enough time to make yourself a full breakfast, it is a great breakfast option, and is super, super tasty. And again, sweet or savory totally works.
That's a good segue to our next question. Is there a way that you usually modify the dough if you're doing a sweet filling versus a savory filling?
More sugar, right?
Yeah, it's just more sugar.
But you don't have to, but yeah, just a little bit more sugar. Would you say you double the amount of sugar? Yeah,
you probably double amount. So, and then what we're gonna do later on, that you can see recently, we start to adding not food color, like curry, fresh fruit juice to our bowl, to the dough, so it can bring more taste, and then smell much better on the bowl dough. And then usually, I think for the sweet bowl, if you adding a little bit more milk or condensed milk, it works much better. It just tastes like a pound cake.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. Pound cake if you add condensed milk.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of talking about our pumpkin pie and turkey and potato bao earlier when ours were steaming, but that's where the color comes from. So for our pumpkin one, you'll see the bao itself is orange, and that comes from pumpkin. And for the turkey and potato, the kind of more yellow color is from carrot. So we are using all natural ingredients for, so when you see different colored bao on our menu, it does come from natural ingredients and flavors. And we're about to go more natural with our packaging, which we're super excited about. Ginny has been spearheading that, and we're all super grateful and excited. So we will be rolling out more eco-friendly packaging very soon in the coming weeks.
I love that.
It's an important test, and we're happy to be at a point where we can do that.
So we have time for about 2 more questions. Can you just go over what we do if we don't have a steamer at home just one more time?
Yeah, so for kind of the sort of makeshift steamer is you want to find a plate that fits inside your pot and allows basically just a little bit of room for steam to come out the side of the plate, right? So you don't want to like force it down and be like sealed tight. You want steam to be able to come up, but still fit inside the your pan and be able to hold the bao on top, right? Because essentially you're going to put like an inch or 2 of water, depending on your pot size and all that, inside. Put the plate down on top, then put the bao on top of that. And that's sort of like an at-home steamer. So as long as your plate is like microwave dishwasher safe, it will be totally fine in as a steamer plate as well.
Perfect, thank you. And finally, what is your favorite bao memory?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, get extra. I mean, I can give mine, but
I think is the first time I tried to make in here at home. So it's like I didn't know how to make a bao before I came to America, and then I took a trip to China a couple of times, spend time over there, and then come back. Like we make the bao for the family, and then so that's the first time I think finally everyone in the family tastes the fresh bao, and also we make ourselves fresh. Also, I got all the technique how to make a perfect bao. So that's where we get exciting. So that we want to open a bao restaurant.
because you can buy them really easily in China, right? Like people can
Yeah,
buy them
yeah.
in bulk in China.
Every street corner probably.
Yeah, street corner food, you can buy them by the dozen
Yeah, in the morning.
in the morning.
Well, thank you for that. That's great. So one last question was, will this be recorded and available to rewatch? Because I know people are at me. I was watching you pleat, and I'm like, I need to watch that more.
Right? I always think that I'm like,
yeah, it will be recorded. So since we're on Facebook Live, Facebook records it for us, and it'll be available in the media section of the Facebook group. We'll also have the recording uploaded to YouTube and send it out to y'all in the next member memo. So you'll definitely be able to rewatch it as many times as you need to in order to master this. And so, yeah, that about wraps it up. That's all the questions we had time for. But thank both of y'all so much for showing us what you do and showing us how to do it at home. It was amazing, and I can't wait to try it myself.
Yeah, thank y'all so much. We appreciate you guys all being here this morning.
Yes, thank you
the
everyone
team for setting this up. We appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you. This is a love fest. I love it. Just as a reminder for anybody who is watching live right now, Thinkery is open today and tomorrow, and we will be closed this weekend for the typical Thursday through Sunday time. So today and tomorrow, come to Thinkery to experience Path to Play and stop and get a bow or 6 from our great friends at Baod Up. We are so appreciative of Chef Ting and Stephanie, and then Jenny and Kevin behind the scenes, and hope everybody learned a lot this morning, and we will see you again soon. Bye, everyone.